Hello and welcome to the Heresy Lodge. I'm your host, Dylan Cooper, the constant co-host over here.
Gavin Franklin.
And guys, to celebrate the upcoming Christmas time, Gavin came all the way up here. We have Christmas beer.
We do.
And we get to talk with the big jolly red man himself.
We do?
Magnus.
Oh, yeah. He is red.
I don't know about the jolly part, though.
Yeah, he's definitely happy about books.
Yeah, he loves it. It was exactly what we're previewing, though. But before we get all into The Crimson King by Graham McNeill, hit us up on the Discord. We're doing a giveaway for Christmas. You can find our Discord pinned to the top of our Twitter at Heresy Lodge. You can email us at theherесylodge@gmail.com. We're on YouTube as well. Leave a comment over there. I'll give it to you. Also, just go over there, like, and subscribe. We also have some merch. Neither of us are wearing it currently or drinking out of our glasses, but we have merch. It looks nice.
It's a missed opportunity.
Yes.
I have so much laundry to do at my apartment.
I was going to wear my sweatshirt, and then I noticed I had shit all over my arm. I was like, no. This is not working.
Never good. What are you drinking today, sir?
So, since Gavin is here, live and in person, I had to get some Christmas beer. This is a repeat from last year. This is from
such a good one, though.
Sun King Brewery here in Indianapolis.
It's like a local tradition.
Yes. And what we have here is the Electric Reindeer.
Yes, very excited for this. So I always struggle because like now I have like beers I have to drink and I'm behind. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna bring some of that. But I really want an Electric Reindeer. So the one I opened first is bourbon and cherry cola. It's a whiskey Coke.
Yeah, that's exactly what it tasted like.
Yeah, I thought it was. I bought it for like the beer, 25 beers at Christmas, and I think it's not a beer at all. There's no beer in this. It's just whiskey. It's bourbon, so.
You know, that's fine. I mean, what percentage is it?
It's a 12%er. It's a...
Yeah, that might be like a cocktail.
Yeah, I think it's just a cocktail. I think I skipped the beer.
Yeah, you know, that happens. But hey, that's okay. You know what else who skips things? Probably most of our listeners. Yeah. There are some short stories that you definitely need to know before going in here. Also, we should probably recap Thousand Suns.
Yeah.
Because we haven't heard from the Thousand Suns in 30 books, 20 books.
Well, the problem is we've seen the Thousand Suns, but every time we've seen them, we're like, why are they here?
Yeah, they show up randomly, and it's only like one person.
Or like an army, and you're like, what? I thought they were on this random planet of sorcerers. And there's definitely some things that happened in this book that I was like, I didn't know that happened. We'll get into it. Maybe you know. And you'll be like, you idiot.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what part you're talking about.
The ships. I didn't know that Magnus sent the ships away in Thousand Suns.
Yeah, they talked about that in Thousand Suns.
Yeah,
they all got on it, and then like as they were leaving, the space wolves like appeared, and then they were like, "Ah, fuck."
With Lumiel.
Yeah,
but I thought that was not like a battleship. That was just like a random cruiser thing.
I think it was like the mothership.
Because in this book, like the fleet shows up, and I was like, I had no idea that the fleet was just off somewhere. So this whole time for the past 43 books, there's been a bunch of Thousand Sun ships just rolling around somewhere.
Yeah, so let's do a quick recap. I mean, everyone probably knows the history of the Thousand Suns and the Space Wolves, right? We have Lehman Russ.
Space Wolves.
Yes, the Space Wolves are sent to take in Magnus.
The now proclaimed furries. We didn't think they were furries previously, but
still okay with them not being furries.
After the helmets were released, there's nothing we can do.
We have no history of them humping each other.
Games Workshop basically came out and was like, yeah, this is the audience we're selling to. They pay more money than Vikings fans. So
you guys want tails? We can put tails.
Oh, yeah. We got all kinds of tails.
Where's that tail coming out of? Oh, you know.
So they're thinking, Games Workshop like, can we do like lizard tails for the salamanders? Do you think people be into that? Make them like dragons.
there's like one person there. It's like, oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
that would be fucking hot.
Well, they got the whole. It's gonna be a thing, I guarantee, because like the World of Warcraft expansion, the Dragonflight, you can run around as like a humanoid dragon. There's probably like tons of terabytes of porn of that shit already.
Oh, I guarantee.
And
it.
Games Workshop's like, we need to capitalize. let's get
There's a full market, and we are missing
let's
it.
get some tails on these salamanders right now.
But yeah, so we have Lehman Russ gets sent to bring in Magnus, but his orders get interrupted by Horus, who's like, it'd be kind of cool. What if he just like killed him?
Yeah, and if your background to this story is the outcast dead, forget about it. Because that messed up the whole timeline of when this happened. So just throw that book out.
Well, no, you need the short story to explain that that actually happened 2 years later.
I don't even want to go there. But yeah, that part was always confusing to me. Because and maybe you have a better memory than me on this stuff. The order was for Lehman Russ to bring Magnus and the Thousand Sons back to Terra.
Yes.
And Horus intercepted that. But was it like an actual interception, or was Horus like talking shit about Magnus to Lehman Russ, and it pissed Lehman Russ off?
I'm pretty sure he just like goaded him to be like,
When did that actually? Did we actually see that in Prospero Burns?
I don't think so. I think we heard about it in.
Well, we hear about
Galaxy in Flames.
Yeah, in False Gods.
Or False Gods.
In the False Gods, yeah.
I think that's like where we got like.
All we get is he's talking to Fulgrim, Horus is, and
Yes.
he's like, "Yeah, so the Emperor sent Lehman Russ after Magnus, and I fucked that shit up." That's basically what he told Fulgrim.
Yeah, and then it was kind of inferred that he was like, "Look, you should just kill him."
Yeah, but we also know too from the Space Wolf side that that's not really what happened.
Yeah, so if you read Prospero Burns, you know that as Lehman Russ is on his way, he believes that one of his they're not house Carls, they're Scarls. He thinks that he is possessed by a Thousand Son, and he's like talking to him, and he's like, Magnus, I'm here. I was sent to like hunt you down, but I don't want to do that, brother. Like, I love you. Like, let's do this peacefully.
I like vaguely remember this. You got an incredible book memory.
This is the only thing I've ever excelled at.
Now, and it turns out that he was actually possessed by a Tzeentch demon, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And that was actually happening to the Thousand Sons, too. The Thousand Sons, Aemon.
Yeah.
But it wasn't Aemon. It was like an Aemon doppelganger.
Yes.
Was actually changer of ways.
Yeah.
And then the Space Wolves found that, and were like, oh, the Thousand Sons are dealing with a bunch of demons. But the Thousand Sons had no idea.
Yeah.
They
were
had no
like,
idea.
what the fuck?
Yeah, because that was in Prospero Burns. That was in the Council of Nicaea.
Yeah, so quick refresh of that. There was some shenanigans happening in IKEA, and the Space Wolves like hunt down a Thousand Son, who like turns into a fucking demon.
Yeah,
and
with like the weirdest.
He can
cast.
stop you from if you said your name, like you couldn't move.
Yeah, which is why the custodians were able to beat the shit out of him.
Yeah, and Bear.
Yeah,
aka Bjorn.
That it was like the weirdest cast from that too. So like when they went to the Council of Nicaea, in case you guys don't know, Council of Nicaea is when the Emperor was like, "I'm going to put a permanent ban on Psychers."
I will say, if you don't know what the Council of Nicaea is, you should probably go back 50 books.
Basically, it was a big fuck you to the Thousand Sons, is what it was.
Yes.
Because the Emperor's like, I'm going to create a whole legion of Psychers, and I'm going to tell them they can't do it. And that's exactly
Although
what
we also had that short story where...
in Demonology,
yeah,
where Mortarion was told years before that Council of Nicaea was going to be a thing. This wasn't like someone brought it up. It's not like I think the Emperor made Lehman think that he thought about it.
Yeah.
Lehman was like, we should do something about it. And he's like, we should. That's a really good idea. And he goes
It's about
over
that time.
goes over to his calendar that already has Council on IQ.
Yeah,
on it,
this whole
circles it.
city is already built on this fucking volcano planet. Oh, that's weird. This just popped up. Yeah, we've been working for like 15 years.
Why is this here, Dad? It's like, oh, well, it's a vacation home. I thought it was a really great place to do this. So, Council and IKEA, you have Mortaria and you have Lehman Russ are the ones that are really advocating against Magnus and the Thousand Sons. And Magnus gives this whole soliloquy or whatnot. And then we have, this actually when we first got introduced to Yasugi. Yeah. Because Yasugi comes down and is like, hey, like, I'm from the White Scars. I'm just a dude. You're the Emperor. That's really cool. But I want to let
You're
you know,
bad,
like,
bitch.
Like the librarians, because the White Scars and the Thousand Sons work together to make the librarians phenomenal order, and we've done a lot of good. But the Emperor planned many years ago to just say no. This
yeah,
whole thing,
fuck this.
we thought, like, when we were reading Thousand Sons and Prospero Burns, we had, like, all kinds of theories as to why the Emperor said no.
Yeah.
And a lot of it had to do with what happened at the Council in IKEA. Turns out, didn't matter. Like, this was way set in stone. But I was saying the weird thing about in Prospero Burns when they go and fight the Changer of Ways was, like, the group that they were with. It was Typhus, Ralderon, Bjorn. It was like a whole entourage of, like, people from different legions. Yeah, and they just went and fought a demon together.
Yeah, very weird. But so we have that. So you have Lehman, who we saw like a side of him where he doesn't want to be this executioner. Mm-hmm. Then he gets there and
he executes.
He does, but he also gets attacked by Ahriman, and because he raises the army because Magnus is shut up in his fucking pyramid crying,
which is a really good point about and something that's very big impact has a big impact in this book is like Magnus's character and how like he kind of doesn't do anything.
No.
He doesn't make decisions. It's like he doesn't even want to lead a legion. He's got like his own agenda, his own ideas.
Yep.
And when bad shit happens to him, he's like, fuck.
What do I do?
Yeah, and you have Ahriman, who is the chief librarian, which being the chief librarian for the Thousand Sons is like being the chief librarian.
Yeah.
He's like, what the fuck are you doing? We have a legion to run. So they're at odds with each other in the first book and in this book because Ahriman has like very reasonably has stuff that he needs to do in order to save the legion, and Magnus is all about whole nother thing that no one else gives a shit about.
Yeah, so Lehman comes in, breaks fucking Magnus's back in half.
Well, after Magnus finally decides, okay, maybe I should do something.
You know what? I do want to protect my sons. I know like half of them are dead right now, but now's a good time to show up.
Yeah, shows up and gets his ass kicked.
He does, like, hard. And then he just teleports. Him and the rest of the Legion just teleport.
And part of Zinka. What's the city's name? Zinka or something like that.
Sure.
Yeah, he teleports like half the city that's like been bombed from space multiple times. It's like destroyed pyramids and shit. He teleports this entire thing to like a planet.
Is it in the Eye of Terror?
So
it's got to be close by or something.
Yeah, the reason we're confused about this is because it is in the Eye of Terror, but it's not like in like, you know, like there's like around.
The question like in. How far in then like Lorgar sent Argartal?
Yeah,
because he went like in and out in like 10 seconds. Then like, whoa, guys.
Yeah, well, you have like the scene in Aurelian, the short story.
Yeah,
about how Lorgar would basically bounce around these various different planets near the Eye of Terra. Like Cadia is close to Eye of Terra. Nothing like the planet they're at in Thousands. The Thousand Suns went to a planet that's just so fucking bonkers.
Just dog shit. But there's a bunch of suns and everything changes.
Well, they call it the planet Nine Suns, and then there's like not 9 suns the next day.
Yeah, it's just like the planet's fucking with them, which I think is hilarious.
It is hilarious, but it's also like Graham.
What's the point of this?
Well, like, don't you think it's a little too much?
Yeah,
Like,
it is a lot of Zinj.
We've seen a lot of planets by the Iatera now. We saw Acadia. We saw a few planets in Aurelian. We know a lot of the Eldar planets. We know when they went in Angel Exterminatus, they went to the Iatera.
Yeah.
Right? Terror.
Iatera, it's a book too, though.
Yeah, my bad. That is also, not confusing at all. And, like, were the places fucked up, like, a little bit? Like, but it was more, like, cultish, weird, like, raining blood stuff.
Yeah, and, like, ghosts and shit.
Not like, I built a tower, and now it's duplicating rooms. Like, that's...
Well, what do you mean? That sounds perfectly normal.
You got, like... They've got, like, birds. They're like manta rays that fly, and screamers is what they're called or something, I think. But these, like, sorcerers are like, watch this, and, like, their bones and shit break, and they form, like, chariots for them to ride, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on in this
I would leave that planet.
Yeah.
Just go to a different one.
And we know they can.
Yeah.
It's
they're
almost
flying around.
like a Calth situation, because this story starts with them off, like, there's a few of them that went on a little adventure.
Yeah, it's just like a rendezvous point at this point.
Yeah.
So
let's rendezvous somewhere that's more permanent, that has a accountable amount of suns.
Let's just go with one sun. Like, that sounds about right.
When it comes to, like, all of the physics behind
It's been too bright here. That's the fucking problem.
I can't fucking sleep. It's 9 suns. No, there's not. There's 8 now. Shut up.
It's still fucking bright.
It's too many suns.
So we have this happen, and then that's the end of, like, Prospero Burns / Thousand Suns.
We probably need to let's backtrack a little bit on Thousand Suns. We talked about Lehman Russ went to go fight Magnus, but we never talked about why.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
so,
it's kind of important.
If you did read out Casted, you definitely know.
Yeah, the whole thing. If you read the Master of Mankind.
Master of Mankind.
Yeah, it talks about it a lot too. But
even in False Gods.
Yeah, tells you the whole thing. Yeah. The other side of that story. Yeah, so there's a lot of books that cover this, and this is the story of Magnus, like the tragedy of Magnus, right? Is like
tragedy my ass.
It is a tragedy. I think it was a very good tragedy because this book, I do want to have this conversation because this book made me think about something as far as like traitors and tragedy and stuff like that. But Magnus was told in IKEA, don't use warp magic.
Yeah.
No warp seduction for you anymore.
Quit fucking the demons, Magnus.
Reminds me of the Barry Waltz like thing, where it's like it shows. I think it was like Jordan Peterson. You know Barry Waltz on YouTube. He does like those skits. Yeah. Oh, I've seen them in the meme chat all the time in Discord. They're fucking hilarious. They're like 20-second skits. And like,
okay.
He always like will take like a Primark or something and then put someone else's face. It was like Jordan Peterson like complaining about a tweet about what like Magnus wrote, right? But he's like, it was the most disgusting, disturbing thing, and he's like crying. And it just shows a Twitter account from Magnus and it says, "Your mom loves my warp magic." But he used warp magic.
Yeah.
And the Emperor said, but it wasn't that he used warp magic. It was what he did.
Yeah. So set the scene for you. He sets up 1,000 Zygers.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, all right, this is what I'm going to do.
Remind you of anyone?
Maybe. I'm going to sit here, Indian style, and you're Armin, cut off all their fucking heads. And
he doesn't cut their heads off. They just die.
No, he's killing them. He's like stabbing them.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd like to reread that.
I'm pretty sure he's like
now you're
cutting
you're the book expert, the past book expert. But from what I recall, I remember like when Magnus would go, he was projecting himself into the warp, this spell, and like it was. I don't fucking understand the spell at all. I don't. This is Graham McNeill making nonsense because there's like so many times with Magnus and Lorgar that they just project an astral body themselves like wherever the fuck they want.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
Also
why didn't he just do that? But he had to
It was so far away.
He had to do some like insane elaborate spell to project himself into Terra. But every time he was in the warp, you know, like he would like punch a barrier and then people would die.
I'm pretty sure he was like killing people in order to like keep his projection going.
Let us know.
Yeah, give us a reminder. But so he's doing this, and he gets to like a gate that's blocking Terra, and he can't get in. This little demon slides up. Is like, I can help you. He's like, oh, that'd be great.
And he's going. We are jumping around a lot, but he's going to warn the Emperor.
Yes, of Horus's betrayal.
Because he does this whole ritual before.
Yeah, this is the second time. He's been killing all of the psychers.
The first time he does it is try to prevent Horus from turning evil, which we read about in False Gods. Amazing scene, like probably my favorite scene from the first 3 books, honestly.
Yeah, it was really cool.
But then the second time is like, well, fucking Horus said no, so I gotta go tell Dad. So he's like 1,000 more psychers, line them up, bring them in, and yeah, he comes across the barrier.
Yeah, and this demon's like, I can help you.
I wonder who that demon is. Ooh.
Probably Korn. So
yeah, let me help you out.
Give me some blood.
Yeah.
But he gets some extra power, and he rips open this fucking gate, and he shows up all bright and powerful. Everyone's like, what the fuck's happening? And he goes, Father.
Doesn't even fucking tell him.
Yeah. He just looks at him. He's like, are you fucking serious right now?
Yeah. Like Magnus breaks through. He's like a weird demon melted heart thing. He's like, Father. And then leaves. You'd think he'd be like, oh, fuck. Oh, Horus betrayed you.
Not me. This is totally normal.
I came to help. Like I wanted to do something to help you. This is a complete accident. Shit.
You'll see the repercussions in 2 years.
Yeah, just the whole concept of like, I mean that's the story of Magnus, right? Like he comes across a wall, right? And the story is about his arrogance. Like he believes that his mission to get to the other side of the wall is more important than why the wall was built. You know, like that is his
No, I've never seen a wall here in the warp. That's fucking weird.
Tear it down. I gotta get shit done.
Walls are meant to be broken.
He's the kind of guy that's like in the left lane of traffic right before he's got to exit, and then he's like, I have to get there. Like I gotta go. I'm sorry. Like, but he's like, he could wait to the next exit. You know, he could have mailed.
It makes me think of like the Family Guy scene where there's a woman driving on the interstate.
Like I turn now, exactly.
Yeah, she's like, okay, and just goes into like 5 lanes of traffic.
That's what Magnus does. Like he could have waited to the next exit. He could have just like mailed one of those vases that all the word bearers used to communicate to the Emperor and done some shit like that. But no, he was like, I gotta get through this wall right
Shove
now.
this in your body. Go see my dad.
Exactly. Like
just shit it out when you get there.
There's other ways to do this. And so, you know, that is why ultimately Magnus is in the situation he's in. A very comical take, but
yes,
I did want to have this conversation.
Okay.
In the beginning of the story, I don't want to spoil anything for the story going into it, but I'm sure all of you guys have fucking read it already, or
you probably read this about 3 years ago,
or will never read it in your life. Those are the only two options that is going to happen here. But you know, one of the things going into this book that we talked about that we wanted to know is like, when does Magnus side with Horus? You know, because we saw in Korax, right, like a whole Thousand Sons army fighting with the War Master, and I think maybe that's not like Magnus's like thing, you know. Yeah. And we have a whole conversation with Magnus and Lorgar here, and we do know at the beginning of this book, Magnus hasn't sided with the War Master, and the way he goes about this, I'm starting to think a little bit like, I don't know if Magnus actually ever does side with the War Master.
Yeah, like right now, like it's kind of Ahriman. Mm-hmm. Because at one point in this book, without spoiling too much, he's like, you know, these are our allies, and Magnus is like, are they?
Yeah, because
they're kind of fucked.
There's a really great scene in this book where like they're like, okay, well, like which brothers could do this task, right?
Yeah.
And Magnus starts naming all the loyalists.
Yes.
And he says they can't do it, but he starts naming them, and Ahriman's like, why did you name all of our enemies? And Magnus is like, I mean, they're all our enemies.
He's like, have you seen the snake guy?
Yeah, he's like, Horus just chose the wrong ones. And so one thing I want to talk about in this book is did Magnus betray the Emperor? And I want to go even further than that. Who actually betrayed the Emperor? Because I think that there are only, at max, and I even think like this is hard, at max 5 Primarchs that betrayed the Emperor.
And obviously Horus.
I don't think so. I don't think Horus ever, because this is what you have to think. When I think of betrayal, I think it comes with 2 contexts, two pieces, things that have to happen, right? It has to be like on your own volition, right? Like you make the choice without like somebody forcing you to or influencing you to. Like you have to have been like, I'm gonna betray the Emperor, you know, and then you have to actually betray the Emperor. You have to like go against them, fight him in some way. All the Primarchs betrayed the Emperor, but like how many of them like woke up and were like, I'm gonna fucking betray the Emperor?
I mean, Horus had a choice at the end.
But this is the problem I have with Horus's betrayal, is Horus so far has died 3 times.
Probably.
Yeah, well, twice. He's died twice so far. But when we come to his first death, you know, think about Horus before his death and after his death. He was brought before a bunch of witches and then sent to the warp using a crazy anatheme stick that was specifically made to kill Horus. Like there was a lot of outside influence to try to get Horus in that situation. And I understand like he did make the decision, but like, can we really say that like it was Horus and not some like weird warped fuckery of Horus? Like when has anyone ever come back from death and been the same person? You know? So like I think it's really hard to say that the Horus that we saw in Horus Rising betrayed the Emperor, because I think like some more shit happened when he died. Like I think like he probably lost like a portion of his soul in some way upon his death.
Well, I mean, if you want to think just fucking anatomically, brain cells definitely would have died.
I mean, sure. But like you even think like when Mortarion killed Horus in Vengeful Spirit, I mean he went and fought in the warp for like 6,000 years. Could you say he's the same person? I don't think so. Like, yeah. Like I think that when like you can't say Horus betrayed the Emperor because Horus died. It's like when, in Game of Thrones when Jon Snow, right? Like he fucking dies and comes back to life, and he's like, I'm gonna leave, and they're like, but you swore an oath, and he's like, I fucking died. my oath doesn't mean anything, you know. Like I think it's hard to say that like Horus betrayed the Emperor because the Horus who lived is not the Horus betrayed the Emperor. The Horus that they sent to the warp after his death is like soul, and who knows what the fuck that happens to that, you know. Sure. Was the one that ultimately made the decision after being like heavily influenced and manipulated by other things. So I think Horus is, obviously he does betray the Emperor, but like in my opinion, like Horus is like a meat puppet, right? Like they killed him and they get to use him as a meat puppet at that point. Exactly. A person like, I don't think Magnus ever really betrayed the Emperor. Like he never woke up. It was like, I'm
fuck
gonna
that guy.
Yeah. Like he tried to warn the Emperor. Yeah. Like what basically happened was like he tried to do good arrogantly, and then he's like, fuck, like I'm now getting attacked by everybody.
Everyone's pissed.
Yeah. So like personally, I wouldn't consider that Lorgar betrayed the Emperor.
Yeah, I mean there was a lot of shit with him.
I think the Emperor betrayed Lorgar, honestly.
Yeah.
He killed tons of people that Lorgar viewed as his people.
I mean, honestly, if he would have just killed Corfarion from the beginning, probably would have saved a lot of shit.
And that's another thing, too. Like, he was under major influences from Corfarion and Erebus. Like, like they kind of pushed him over that edge. I don't think Fulgrim betrayed the Emperor.
No, he had the air blade.
He was super corrupt. He wasn't even Fulgrim when he killed Ferrus Manus. Like, the one thing that they were like, oh, you done fucking went over the edge. It wasn't even him.
Yeah.
You know? And obviously, when he does regain control, he's still really fucked up, but it's after, like, tons of corruption.
Yeah.
tons of like getting like dicked on by Slanesh demons, you know.
Yeah.
So I think that's hard to say. Alfarius definitely didn't betray the Emperor.
No, we talked about that in Return of Dorn. That I think his point of view, he was doing the outcome that would make it for the Emperor's vision.
Mm-hmm. He thought he was on the Emperor's side.
Yeah, I don't think really Mortarion did either. I mean, I think because we hear about it in like Scars, he's like, I kind of just fucking stuck.
Yeah. Mortarion's an interesting one. Mortarion was like super heavily influenced by Typhon.
Yeah.
Without knowing.
Yeah.
And at the same time, like Mortarion, I think Mortarion's one of the primaries you can easily make an argument that he did betray the Emperor because there was a lot of like premeditation. Yeah. Right? Like even before he got his legion. Right, we read in Demonology, he was like, "Fuck this."
Yeah,
he's like, fair. I hate this. But
him and Angron really.
Yeah, so Angron, I think you can make an argument for Angron though, and that's the fact that like
the nails.
Yeah, does Angron hate the Emperor? Yes. Would he have betrayed him without this crazy fucking outside piece of work? Probably not. Like I don't think Angron would have been as pissed off at the Emperor for whatever happened at. Syria, yeah, that sounds right. If he didn't have the nails, probably wouldn't have killed his first 7 captains or whatever.
You know what confuses me so much about the nails? How the fuck are they being created still? The implant all your fucking Space Marines.
You know, I agree because apparently it was something they found in the vaults of Mars. That were hidden away. So how did they recreate it?
Yeah,
that's a really good point. What a loophole you found there, sir.
It was. I was painting a car and I was like, how did this happen?
Because we got confirmation in Master of Mankind that like it's like hidden technology locked away for thousands of years.
Yeah.
And then they're like, yeah, we just print that shit.
We've been mass producing this on New Syria, and then. Yeah. I know, like, Angron doesn't go back there anymore, but he had ample supply.
Yeah.
Magically.
They were either obviously they were making them. I would think. I don't think he's got, like, a box that he took back.
They're actually just normal nails. He's just hammering on the people's heads.
Yeah. So, I think Angron's an interesting one. And another one that I think is interesting is Conrad Kurz. Did Conrad Kurz betray the Emperor? So, this is my qualm with Conrad and his betrayal. Is... he has the whole vision of the future.
Yeah.
And the truth is, and you can't fucking deny it, he has never, ever been wrong.
Yeah.
He truly believes, based off of his visions, based off of his knowledge of the future, that he, like the Emperor, like, basically forced him to betray him. Like, it almost wasn't Conrad's choice, is his argument. And, like, even though that's a bitch-ass argument, he hasn't been wrong.
Yeah.
And... I mean, the Emperor made deals with the Chaos gods to make the Primarchs.
Yeah.
Kind of his fucking fault. Could one of them have given Conrad Kurz premonitions that just come true because he fucking thought them? Sounds like a very Zinchi thing to do.
Yeah, but also, the Emperor can also see the future.
Kind of. We saw that a lot in Master of Mankind. It's not a guaranteed thing.
Yeah, but I mean, technically... neither are Conrad's, but he just is like, well, it hasn't failed me yet, so.
Conrad is, like, he didn't betray the Emperor because he hated the Emperor. He betrayed the Emperor because he was like, that's like, that I have to.
Yeah.
Like, I have no choice. You know who the only Primarch who I was like, yeah, that dude fucking betrayed the Emperor?
The Lion?
No. Well, I mean, I'm talking.
Portorabo.
Yeah, it was Portorabo. Portorabo was the only fucking Primarch that was like, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. He was not being... No one in his legion was, like, in some sort of weird circle that was trying to influence him.
No.
Like, he didn't have, like, a Chaos God vying for him. He didn't die. Like, nothing crazy happened to Portorabo.
He was just butthurt.
Yeah. What I like about Portorabo is he had this situation where he was like, I kind of fucking hate the Imperium.
Yeah.
And, yeah, let's overthrow it. I cannot wait to dive more into Portorabo. Like, Portorabo's the dude that betrayed the Emperor because he thought he could do better, and then, like, he's got his like allies turning themselves into fucking snakes. Like, he's like, God damn it.
Son of a bitch.
I think like Porrabo is the ultimate traitor. Like, nothing actually happened to Porrabo to get him to betray the Emperor, other than him being like, I am completely on board with this.
Yeah, because like even like their lodges was literally like them like playing video games.
Yeah, it was they
were playing strategy games.
That's actually what it was. They were just playing video games.
And then they go to the fucking Emperor's children and like, oh my god, what the fuck?
What do you guys do here? We do drugs.
We're gonna snort that cocaine off this table, off that chick's ass, off those chicks' tits, maybe off my dick.
And one of the fucking Iron Warrior dude was like, yeah, sounds like a good fucking time.
And then he just gets decked. He's like, nah, this ain't cool.
No, man, you were about to snort cocaine on that dude's dick. Like,
shit, thanks, dude.
Appreciate that. Went a little far there, I think. Oh,
let's not talk about that.
Great scene.
Yeah, it was very cool. But man, we have gone off the rails.
I wanted to talk about that.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because that is like Magnus in a nutshell. It's like, did Magnus betray the Emperor? Did Magnus do anything wrong? Like, those are the questions, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's a thing to ask.
So there's one short story that you would be really confused if you just open this book up after like Thousand Suns, and that is with Lucius.
I don't even remember the name of it.
I don't remember the name of it either, but it might honestly be Lucius the Eternal, or maybe it's just the Eternal.
Yeah, makes sense.
I think it might be that. Check it out. Let me know if I'm right.
Yeah,
I might not be, but there's a story of Lucius wanting to find 1,000 Sun swordsmen because he's supposed to be a badass after he got brought back to life.
Yeah, after Angel Exterminatus. So if we remember from Angel Exterminatus, maybe you didn't get to this part. But Shuriken.
No, I read that part.
Kills Lucius.
Mm-hmm.
And Lucius at the end is brought back to life by Fabius Bile. And he's like, how? And Fabius just doesn't tell him.
Fucking magic, bitch.
He's just like, look at my fucking manacles, dude. I can do anything I want. I'm Fabius Bile. I got the anatheme. I think it might be a replica because there's like 9 of them out there.
But it looks so cool.
Yeah, it looks really cool on the wall. You can get it on Amazon. They're handing them out like
2-day shipping, baby. Gotta be a Prime member though.
It's like, man, it was just like, everyone's got an anatheme, dude. You can't be going around bragging about that.
But anyway, Lucius is like on this like thrill to like try to die. So he's like trying to like find swordsmen that he thinks that could like maybe kill him. Yeah. And he ends up at the planet of sorcerers, which is apparently not as hidden as it made it seem to be. If Lucius can just fucking pop out of nowhere and know where it is.
It's another qualm I have, because if you remember in First Heretic, when they got closer and closer to the Eye of Terror, the amount of time it took to travel there got longer.
Yeah.
So I'm like, this dude isn't just taking a weekend trip to this planet, which is way more fucked up than it, so you can assume that it's like right on the edge. Like, it's like right on the edge of the actual eye. He's like right there.
Yeah, and don't even know, like, is he just on a fucking jet scooter?
Yeah, does he take a whole ship?
Where's the ship people that was with him? I don't know. None of this is answered.
It was just the whole time just an astral projection, and he's just there to be like, yeah, you could have done this.
But anyway, he finds this 1,000 Sun named Sinacht.
Yeah, something like that.
And they start fighting. And then as Lucius was to do like the killing blow, Arven's like, yo, stop that. And now Lucius just hang out with 1,000 Suns.
Yeah, Sinacht. Yeah, Sinacht. I think, like, so Lucius is there with them, and like, there's got to be some connection. We in truth, we're both only like a third of the way through the book. We're like next to each other, which is kind of funny considering like how often like you get like a whole book ahead of me, or I'll get a whole book ahead of you.
Yep, like, somehow I was in the back.
Yeah, but there's got to be some sort of connection to Lucius being there, because at some point at the beginning of this book, it's revealed that like I think it was Magnus himself that was like, yeah, he's got to stay. Like, we've got plans for him. And the connection, there must be some connection there, and to the idea that Magnus wants Shuriken left.
Yeah.
Like, I'm
maybe,
assuming
question mark?
we're vamping up for a rematch. And Magnus has some sort of idea that was like, that Emperor's Children dude and that Raven Guard dude need to fight again. It's going to be fucking cool.
I mean, that's how I imagine.
Welcome to Hell in the Cell.
In the left-hand corner, weighing at 315 pounds.
At least, probably more. They're fucking ripped.
In armor, we have from the Raven Guard, Shaggy.
Yeah, we know. No one knows who the Raven Guard are. It's the... You ever see, like, It's Always Sunny? Where they come in as the Eagles.
That's exactly how he was going to show up.
Comes up with, like, raven feathers. Oh.
Correx is sitting there in the corner shaking. He's like, yeah, it's my boy.
That's the fucking guy. He's like a raven. I love that shit.
Wait till he goes invisible.
I'm so fucking hard right now.
But I think whenever that rematch happens, I think that's when we get the real Lucius the Eternal.
I think we
That's
get the real
my
Lucius the
prediction.
Eternal in this book. That's my prediction. I think
Maybe.
the Thousand Suns person will kill Lucius.
Oh,
Be like,
maybe.
Oh, I'm so good. And then, like...
That is a possibility.
But the question is, I really hope that they explain, like, how that happened, like, why it's happening now, why it didn't happen to Shuriken. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what's the fucking deal with that?
Well, I mean, my guess is, off of the lore, Shuriken was just like, yep, he's dead.
I doubt it. Shuriken's kind of a prideful dude. Like, he talks about, like, when we're sitting there in the Shattered Legion story with him, and the captain's like, why don't I reprimand you? And he's like, because you need me. You're like, bitch, like, your invisibility didn't work over on the other ship, so maybe I don't need you. So yeah, that is a short story. You do have Lucius there, which is kind of strange.
Yeah.
But honestly, I'm going to say this. It might be a little controversial, but I think Lucius the Eternal is my favorite trader to read about.
I agree. Just because he's a consistent character.
Yes. He is a caricature that is to an extreme. Is he like, do I get behind him like Argyle Tall? No, not at all. Yeah. But, like, he's like an Erebus that's actually fun to read about. Like, you don't want to throw up when you see
he's
him,
not like, oh, I got to sacrifice things. He's like, dude, I'm just going to fucking kill you.
And he comes off cocky.
And I like it.
Graham writes his combat very well, too.
Yes.
So, like, he is a badass. Like, you can't deny he's a badass. And, like, you want him to lose, but you enjoy when he wins.
Yeah, because it's one of those things he's like, it's just so fucking badass. You're like, there's no way this fucker's going to kill him. Yeah. And then he doesn't. And you're like, I fucking knew it. Yeah. That dude's a bitch.
Like, you're like, I want him to die because he's terrible. But, like, whenever he wins, you're like, fucking cool.
Yeah,
I kind of want to buy his model every time he wins. I'm like, fucking cool.
Well, the thing about him too is he's not like the other like Emperor's Children, right? Where he's like shoving things up his ass. He's literally just like, I just want to fucking slice you in half, and I can get behind that.
I mean, we don't know what he does on the weekends, but I'm sure.
Like, and
there is a great scene in this book where like Lucius, so the other swordsman, and we know this. He's a really good swordsman because he can read people's minds. That's the cult he's in, right? There is a scene in this book where she's like, oh, you want to read my mind? And Lucius like, I'm an Emperor's Children. Like, I'm going to do some stuff.
You're going to see some shit.
Like, so he shows him. And the Thousand Sons like, what the fucking fuck? And like, Jesus fucking Christ.
He's like, how the fuck are you alive? He's like, beats me?
Literally like falls on his knees in like tears. Like, just reading Lucius's mind. Lucius is like, yeah, it's fucking wild.
That's my fucking brain every day, baby.
Yeah, it's awesome. You should come in. I'm snorting cocaine off these sticks like every week.
It's a wild ride here. We're more than just Fulgrim Sons now.
I'm looking forward to talking about that scene more next week because it is kind of funny. Like the idea is like,
damn.
Like, Lucius figured out a way to beat you by just thinking dirty thoughts. He Emperor's Children you.
Let me show you my life real quick. Oh my god!
You got Magnus and Fulgrim. You know, it's like it's
things are just getting shoved into Fulgrim. It's like, oh my god, why is he doing that?
It's like, I know how to beat him. I'll just read his mind. He'll be projecting his like sword techniques. No. Fulgrim is thinking about different. He's thinking about different things. He's fighting you with swords and thinking about different things. Like, he's just here doing this. His eyes are closed in his mind. He's somewhere else, and you don't want to be there. So, yeah, a lot of funny scenes. Like, I think, like, the cool thing about Graham's work is all of his shit ties together.
Yes.
Everyone else, it kind of, I mean, like, yes, you have Nick Kime writing about the salamanders, and you have Chris Wright writing about the scars. But the fact of the matter is, like, Graham's written, like, 8 books now, and not all of them are about the same Legion, but they all are in the same kind of story flow, you know? So I think he does a very good job at, like, oh, I'm going to write Vengeful Spirit, and that ties in to Crimson King a little bit. You know, like, the characters are the same. Like, there's some consistency.
Yeah, and there's moments from those books that, like, are kind of brought up here, like, horses change, and, like, Lucius popping up from a random short story.
Well, short stories. Graham's the king. Short stories. Yeah. It's a blessing and a curse, really.
I'm trying to think. I think there's, like, another character. I don't know. I'm curious about this Iron Casket thing.
Yeah, so let's go through the character list real quick, and just kind of talk about some people that you may not know. I also think that Graham did some shit in here where he, like, doesn't actually list everybody that's in the book, because Lucius isn't even listed.
Really?
Yeah, he's not in here, and he's like a main character.
Yeah, he's, like, immediately thrown in.
Yeah, there's people from the Space Wolves, which we haven't gotten to yet. Kind of interested to see how
I've been introduced to him.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, Malkador and Nagasana is in this book.
Yeah, I've been introduced to him.
Another Graham McNeill tie-in.
Yep. From a couple books. He's in Vengeful Spirit, Outcast Dead, short story
books. Yeah, like, I like his character very much too.
Yep. Very cool human.
Yeah, no Lucius the Eternal, which is kind of funny because, like, he is a main character. So I wouldn't look at this cast list and be like, that's what's happening. I think Graham McNeill, this has happened before in his cast list where he's like, I got some surprises.
Yeah, which I like that because, like, sometimes I see one, I'm like, what the fuck? Although I think someone should just throw in Alfarius every time.
It'd be great. We got it. That's one of the things when we finish the whole series, we're going to tell you which book just needs Alfarius in the cast list to just fuck everything up. So Magnus the Red, obviously, and Lorgar is in there as well. I have a feeling we're going to see additional Primarchs in this book. But the scene in which Lorgar so far has appeared in is really good. Yeah. You have Ahriman, the Librarian of Librarians.
Yep. Also, something about Ahriman, too, that we didn't really talk about. His whole thing right now is he's trying to fix the flesh change.
Yeah, that was actually a short story as well.
Yeah, and the thing is...
Let's talk a little bit about what the flesh change is.
Yeah, so the flesh change is... It's talked about in Thousand Suns when they are just, like, overflown with their, like, psychic ability. Their body's literally just fucking...
Yeah.
Get fucked up.
It's a genetic flaw.
Yes.
So it's like... It's almost like getting turned into a wolfen or the blood rage or...
You know what my favorite part about all of this is? His idea of trying to fix it is by using more psychic powers.
Yeah.
Why not try to genetically change it with science?
You're like, take this pill.
Like, we have, like, what, like, Fabius is doing and shit. Like, maybe, like, you're friends with the Emperor's Children right now. Maybe, like, see, like, what Fabius is doing.
The Emperor's Children had another genetic flaw, too. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah.
That Fabius had to fix.
Yeah.
But, yeah, you're right. Like, he always goes to magic. But, yeah, it'd be funny.
This thing that's killing us, let's mess with it some more.
Just take ibuprofen, 1,000 milligrams every 4 hours, and it'll be fine.
Don't go to immediate care.
Exactly, yeah. It's going to pay a bunch of money. But, yeah, so he's trying to... What happened was when Magnus joined the Legion, when they discovered Magnus, he was looking for a solution to the flesh change. We now know that that's the reason he lost his eye. He gave up his eye in a bargain to a demon who is probably Tzeentch.
Yep.
And solved the flesh change. But in Thousand Suns, it started to pop up again in the Legions, and now it's rampant.
Yep.
So Ahriman is looking for a solution, and there's a bunch of conflict. We in the short story we did also get told that Magnus was like
Stop.
like, and we do figure out like what Magnus is trying to do in this book. It's bullshit.
Yeah,
It's
dumb.
really dumb. Ahriman's story is way more appealing to me.
I agree.
But Ahriman really wants to fix the flesh change because he doesn't like the fact that the Legion is dying from some like horrific thing that occurs.
That's just some bullshit.
Yeah. And Max is like, it doesn't work. But yeah, I think Ahriman is
Also,
a nice spy.
a lot of foreshadowing in this. For all his dust.
Yeah, a lot of like 40K references, for sure. So maybe we get to see how.
I'm assuming
we will. Yeah.
It's. I don't know how else he can't fucking put it on any thicker.
Yeah.
Every time something goes like, all this dust.
All this dust.
I'm like, oh.
It makes me want to play my Thousand Suns again, honestly. But yeah, I love Ahriman in this book and his story and the whole flesh change shit.
That's
Again,
fine.
like what a dickbag of an emperor. So we have Aemon. Aemon is the Equerry.
Yes.
I didn't actually know that.
I also didn't.
Yeah. So Aemon and Ahriman are in a weird like power struggle, and Aemon comes off to me as like an Erebus character.
Kind of. I can see it.
Yeah, like he is. It kind of seems like he's very like. While Ahriman's trying to fix the flux change, Aemon's like, I gotta keep
I'm
my power.
sucking Magnus's dick.
Yeah, like, I gotta keep my power.
Yeah.
It's really weird. But he has like he comes up with all kinds of solutions to things, and sometimes the difference is sometimes it does seem like Ahriman and Aemon, even though they hate each other, are on the same like boat. Like that. Okay, we do need to fix problem A, problem B. So I'm interested to see how their relationship works.
I think the biggest difference is with them, like between Aemon and Erebus, is Aemon is actually on Magnus's side.
I think Aemon is like on Magnus's side, like because like whatever side he is on is like whatever Magnus makes it that day. You know, like he exactly what you're saying. Like he's sucking Magnus's dick. Kind of thing. We also have Hawthor Matt, so he was actually one of my favorite characters from The Thousand Suns. Yeah, so he's the Kind Shield guy. He's the one that saved Magnus from the Eldar Titans.
Yeah, but in this one, he kind of is using like different abilities, which confuses me.
No, he does the Kind Shield
thing. But he does some like random like healing stuff now.
Yeah, so weirdly, I agree. That's the thing. Like we have Sanok who says the Mind Reader. Like he puts up Kind Shields on his like weapons and shit.
Yeah.
So like, I think it's just like you specialize in something, but you get to do everything.
I think it's like kind of talked about that, but like Hawthor Matt's like a big healer now.
No, you're thinking of a different person.
I don't think so.
Are you sure you're not thinking of? Oh, yeah, that's probably right. Yeah,
because he does the whole thing with Lucius later too.
Yeah, I think like the whole organization of their psychers is so different than like everything else in the psychic world. Like psychers in the wild are they have like random abilities.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah, and like the Thousand Suns can do whatever, but they specialize in like one weird ability. You know, it's not like psychers outside. Like for instance, you have one girl that's like writing in Thousand Suns, she's like drawing or writing the future or something.
Yeah.
But the Kavorde, who are the people that see the future, they just see it. Like that's not something they do. So it's like the Thousand Suns have a very specific like set of like 6 traits that they can do.
Yeah, although it's weird too because you have like people like Grammaticus, who his specialty is like linguistics, but he can also like do a little bit of like Jedi mind tricks and shit like that too.
Well, yeah, and you have like Ahriman in here. You know, he reads the future, but like he also does like battle spells. Like that's the thing now.
I'm pretty sure Ahriman can kind of just do everything, but he's like super Corvidae.
Well, you have like a dude in here who's just like, I'm gonna cast.
I'm gonna summon space demons.
Yeah, and they call it like some ritual thing. Like that is clearly not like one of the 6 tenets. You know, that's outside the zone.
Yeah.
I guess like anyone can do that. So like yeah, they're psychers. They can use their mind as mind wizards. But at one point in time, Magnus was like, these are like the 6 coolest mind wizard tricks. And then they're like, great. So like a shield, fuck yeah. But that dude just summoned demons out of a staff. No, it's like over here. You do the shield.
You want your flesh to change? That's how you fucking do it.
Watch out for the space demons. 40K is like...
It's weird.
It's so fucking weird. You have Sobek, who is like Ahriman's equerry. Ahriman gets his own equerry.
Yeah. The chief librarian's like, oh, I need somebody too.
Ahriman, like, I really think his mentality is like, all right, I'm just gonna fucking be the Primarch.
She's like, yeah, I lead the Legion.
I'm gonna be the dude now because Magnus is a little bitch. And
He's
Magnus,
too busy writing books right now.
Magnus is a bitch, dude.
Yeah.
Magnus, he's fun to read about because sometimes, like every once in a while, Magnus will do like a badass thing.
He just has a good one-liner every now and again, and that's about it.
But then, like, it's like, why did you do that? And he's like, for knowledge. And I'm like, oh, that's not as cool.
I must build this great library.
Yeah.
Bro, like, we're all fucking dying.
Yeah,
Can
he's
you
like,
please help?
This whole book, he's like, being a librarian. He's like, I gotta fucking write shit down.
And we don't mean a psychic librarian. We're talking like a school librarian.
At one point, he's like, the dude's like, everything you write is killing you. He's like, I know. But it's awesome. I just wrote about a diagram of how to make this really good paper plate. Like, that's
Look,
the kind
dude,
of shit.
This is a telescope. Cool, Magnus. We know what a fucking telescope is.
Magnus is like, no one else will do this. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure the mechanical will. That's their whole, like,
If not
spiel.
them, there's literally a bunch of fucking servitors.
Oh, no, we'll figure it out. We'll write it down. He's like, but it'll be a secret. Like, right now, you're writing it on a library in a planet right next to the Eye of Terror. Let me tell you, it's going to be a secret. Like, no one's going to be traveling there.
Only Lucius shows up here.
Exactly. Like, no one's
and
like...
apparently random legionaries that no one knows where they're from?
Exactly.
Question mark?
Like, strange beings. There's not some Imperial citizens like, I really need to figure out how to make that paper plane. Traveling to your fucking library. So Sobek is Ahriman's equerry. Then you have Minkura, who is a new person to me. I don't know this guy.
I don't recognize
Minkura,
it.
yeah. He is also a guy that can see the future. And what's so crazy to me about this fucking dude is, like, at one point in time, this book says, like, he was trained by a dude that was trained by a dude that was trained by Magnus, which makes him really important. I'm like, what?
Cool.
Like, Magnus, like, all of the characters in Thousand Sons talk to him regularly. And that wasn't like, wow, these guys are really good.
They just went to the library.
Yeah, like, they just hung out in the library, and Magnus was like,
Well, let me
Let's
show
talk.
you some knowledge.
yeah, check out this book.
I'm going to read it to you. The most sensual voice I have.
So this dude's like 3rd generation Magnus, and he's like really, really powerful, I guess. Then you have Sennacht.
Oh, this is all the same name.
This is the dude that fights with Lucius a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tolbeck. So he's part of the Pyre. So what we should maybe possibly mention is the fact that the Pyre are like in flux, because that's a thing too.
I think everything's in flux.
Well, it talks very specifically about how the Pyre are like powerful right now,
Yeah.
because they're like.
Oh yeah, because the planet, for some reason.
Well, no, it talked about this in 1,000 Suns, where like the 6 things that Magnus were like, these are the cool things. They like wax and wane in power. So like Ahriman and the Kovorde used to be really powerful. They could see the future,
Yeah.
but then now they're the lowest. They can't really. It's like hard to grasp at it. But the Pyre, the dudes that make fire, like it's like really hot now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it talks a lot about in this book, like when they go fight, like Ahriman's like, yeah, we're doing this, and he looks over, he's like, but the Pyre are doing this shit. It's fucking nuts.
They just fucking shoot flamethrowers at their ass. It's awesome.
They're shooting flames out of every
Lucius
orifice.
like, damn, can I sniff that?
He's like, I like that. Let's figure out how to incorporate that. And you have Ignis. Ignis is an interesting character. I like very briefly we've seen him a little bit, but he is a character. Not to I don't want to spoil anything, but he's a character in 40K.
Oh, okay.
You get 1,000 Suns Codex. He actually is talked about. It's kind of interesting. You have some Space Wolves. None that Olgvir Widowson is from. Isn't Olgvir Widowson from
That one
Sparrow
short story?
Birds?
I don't know.
Olgvir, isn't that the dude that saves that dude or?
I don't know. It was of a route I hadn't heard of before.
Okay.
But so these guys appear at a jail, basically, of the people that were captured, of the citizens leaving Prospero.
Interesting.
So I'm assuming that's where Lemuel is, and
yeah,
the main.
because so the other characters we get introduced to, I don't know any of these people, but we have Malcador and Nagasena, who are. Malcador is Malcador. Nagasena is from Outcast Dead. He's like a hunter.
Yep.
And then we have.
Yeah, he's with the Space Wolves.
Okay, and we have 3 remembrancers that we know from the previous book. Lumiel, who's a fucking awesome character.
Yep.
He was a dude. What was his psychic ability? I don't remember.
Oh, fuck. Could he read minds, maybe? That's why, Armin was with him.
Yeah, he was being trained by Ariman, but I don't know,
I think he could see the auras of people.
I remember there was, a whole scene where he was doing the card thing. Maybe
yeah.
It was, a slow down, seeing the future. He could see the future.
Yeah, he could, see the future and, see,
he had to, pick up the cards.
Yeah, but he could also, tell, people's, line and stuff because of, their aura.
Yeah. We have Camille. That's the one that could see the future and write it down.
Yep.
And Shaya Parvati.
I think she was the one that could touch things and see where they were from.
Oh, okay. Awesome
I
group
think.
cast. We're super over, but there's that's the preview to the Crimson King, I think. But there's a whole topic that we need to talk about. So
yes.
We might be going over a little bit on this one.
Yeah. So big news came out this morning. This is Friday the 16th.
Last night, actually.
Yes, last night, and that is Sir Henry Cavill.
Sir, the Lord.
Maybe God Emperor.
Henry, could be. I hope so.
He's gonna be in and also helping produce. Executive producer of a Warhammer series for Amazon.
Yeah, so Amazon purchased the rights to do to the Warhammer universe, cinematic universe. Essentially, is what they purchased, and Henry Cavill's kind of the dude in charge of doing that now.
Which I think it being him is huge.
Dude, it's the coolest fucking news that's hit Warhammer maybe ever.
This is how I imagine how the last 48 hours has been for
Henry Cavill.
Yeah, so
because he's been through all kinds of.
He left The Witcher for Superman.
Back. Well, he left The Witcher. Henry Cavill's great. He left the fucking Witcher because he played The Witcher and read The Witcher.
Yep.
So if you go back and listen to a lot of the interviews, he played The Witcher, and they're like, "We're gonna cast you as The Witcher." He was like, "Oh, from the video game." They're like, "Actually, it's from books." He was like, "Really?" And then he read them, and then they went to go play, and he was like, "Guys, we're not really following what the books are. This is what made it famous. We should do this." And they had a lot of creative differences, and so he left.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, he was like, "I don't like this. I don't like he did not like where The Witcher was going, so he left." He had a lot. Apparently, they say it was difficult to work with, but not in a way he was an ass. He was we should he fought the script a lot because he didn't like where it was going, which I think an actor should do.
Especially the headliner.
Yeah, and he's an expert at not only his field in acting. He's been in movies. I think it's so annoying that you can't go to your boss and be like, "Hey, here's some feedback." You know what I mean? But he also probably was way closer to the source material than they were, which is what made. And they're fucked now. The Witcher's fucked.
Yeah.
I'm not watching the 3rd season.
Well, he's in the 3rd season.
Yeah, I'll watch
the 4th season.
I'm not watching the 4th season.
It's the younger Hemsworth brother.
Liam.
Now.
Yeah. I don't know. I might check
I'll
it out,
watch it, but it's. I think with. I don't think. I wouldn't be able to call him Geralt.
Yeah, it'd be weird. It's so weird. But then Henry got smacked with some news
Yeah,
yesterday.
so he was supposed to be Superman, and then they're like,
No, he is Superman.
well, he was Superman.
He was like how many movies? 3 movies now. He was Superman in.
Yeah, Justice League, Superman, and Batman versus Superman.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they kicked him to the curb, which is interesting.
Fuck it. So there's a few things I have to say about this. So James Gunn is the dude in charge now.
Yeah,
I like James Gunn.
I do too.
I think James Gunn can deliver stuff. I have no idea what the fuck's going through his mind when he's like, we gotta let go of Henry Cavill. Because
Henry Cavill's a fucking following.
Henry Cavill is like the only thing that was good about the current DC universe, in my opinion. Other than Wonder Woman. I liked Wonder Woman a lot, too.
Well, those got canned.
Huh?
That's canned now.
Fucking gross. It's so weird because, like, that was, like, an actually well-written superhero story.
Yeah. The only thing that always annoyed me about Wonder Woman, maybe this is just in Justice League, but every time she appears on screen, it's the loudest fucking music. It's the same song every time. And I'm just like, Jesus Christ, everything's shaking.
Yeah. It's very strange. So they're gonna hire a younger person. I'm like, that's so weird. And everyone was concerned. It's like, it's gonna be like another origin story. Are they doing a restart of the DC universe? Like, shoot me now. But apparently it's not. It's just gonna be another Superman movie. With
That's
like,
weird.
Yeah, and I don't know. The DC universe is like, I don't give a fuck. I didn't ever even watch Justice League.
I watched the Snyder Cut.
I watched Aquaman. I was like, I'm done.
The Snyder Cut was actually decent. It was just so fucking long.
Oh, I'm sure. And when you say decent, like, it wasn't groundbreaking.
No, it'd be like a 6.
Yeah. Like, it wasn't Christopher Nolan's fucking Batman trilogy, which
No.
he did in like an hour and 40 minutes each. And he was like, yeah, that's all you need to do.
Yeah.
It's really not that hard, guys.
Yeah. But, so we go from that, and then we get the announcement.
Hours later.
Yeah.
Not even like hours later.
The funny thing, I saw a tweet from someone who was like, hey, Henry, you and me should get together and do a Warhammer TV series. And I was like, well, that's an interesting tweet.
It's a great tweet.
And then I wake up and it's fucking happening. I'm like, wait a minute.
So my buddy, you remember Raven?
Yeah.
He's the guy who got introduced to the Horus Heresy. He's on the 3rd book now. He's like texting me about it all the time. Like, because I talked to him about it like a couple years ago. He's like, I'd be interested. Because he loves like sci-fi stuff.
Yeah.
I'm big into Dune and shit like that.
Buy any models yet?
Oh, I'm gonna get him there.
Oh, the addiction's coming.
Oh, it's gonna happen. But like, he was the one. Like, he's been like following like news shit about Warhammer now because he thinks it's super. He's like super fucking into it. He'll text me like, I can't believe fucking Horus just did this shit. But so he's been following news stuff. He's like, hey, did you see the Henry Cavill thing? I was kind of drunk that night, which was last night.
It was about 4 this morning.
Oh, shit, yeah, it wasn't that long ago. But he messaged me, and I was like, that's not a real fucking thing. I messaged him, I was like, there's no fucking way. I was like, somebody's pulling your fucking chain. And I woke up the next day, and I looked at the article on Warhammer Community. I was like, I texted him back. I was like, this is the best day of my life.
Yeah, I mean, at first I was like, there's no way this is real. And then I saw the email from Warcom, and I was like, holy shit, this is legitimate. And like, I was like,
super fucking
I
awesome.
was like, maybe this is a joke.
It almost made me wonder. Like,
Tuxedo, huh?
No, it made me wonder, like, that meeting that he had with DC, right? Like, I kind of think, like, he went in and bombed it on purpose. Like, I think he kind of, like, he knew that he was about to do a Warhammer thing, and he was like, this is so much cooler than this weird-ass Superman script that they keep. But
yeah, because I mean, James Gunn's very good for like jokey stuff.
Yes, actually, you're right. I think
DC,
you're right.
You
can't
do
be
jokey
jokey
stuff.
in DC.
It's dark.
Yeah, I agree.
It's honestly kind of what the grimdark should be.
Yeah, and man, so we got a tweet from Henry Cavill. We got a couple tweets. The first tweet was about him like leaving the DC universe. What a fucking stand-up dude! Did you read that tweet?
Yeah.
Like, it was such a nice tweet. He was like, hey, like, it's unfortunate and like we can be upset about it, but like I really hope that everybody who's working on the universe does really well. He even called out the directors that fired him. He was like, James Gunn and them, like, they've got a whole universe to build, and I wish them the best of luck. Like, I'm on to different things. Like, fucking stand up, dude.
And then you have the fucking spin. Although someone noticed that the Aquila that he sent, like, posted a picture of spinning, is a Horus Heresy one.
So that's the one I want to talk about next. Is what is going to happen? What do you?
Where do you walk in?
There's so many like possibilities, and all of them would be, not all of them, but most of them would be okay. Because here's the problem: you're spinning up a whole new franchise like this, and your initial thought is like, it's probably not going to be like insane funded, unless it is, unless it's like
Amazon money.
Yeah, unless Amazon's like, let's put as much money in this as we did Lord of the Rings, and it'd be fucking great.
Okay, I don't think they're getting that much money.
That was the highest. Wasn't that like the most expensive?
It was insane.
Yeah, and like really weird amount of quality that was delivered. Yeah. Like, I don't want to get into the Lord of the Rings thing. I thought it was okay. I kind of enjoyed it.
I've only seen the first 2 episodes.
Yeah, so you never even like got into it because it honestly like
it's slow.
It's slow as fuck. But Tolkien is a very slow fucking person.
True.
But you know, I thought it was okay. But I think when it comes to the 40K universe, let's talk about the different ends that they have. So the first thing that comes to a lot of people's mind is not the Horus Heresy. It's the Eisenhorn series.
Yeah,
it's the most popular series they probably have. I think it's a 3-book series, maybe.
I think it's a trilogy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think like that and God's Ghost are probably the 2 most popular. That's always recommended.
Yeah, God's Ghost. Yeah, like, and I think Eisenhorn would be okay. This is the problem I have with like anything but Eisenhorn is like you're gonna have a lot of Space Marines or Xenos. Your budget's gonna get really expensive. And you're not going to get a human perspective and someone to relate to most of the time. Yeah. So, like, I really do think Eisenhorn would be a good thing to go into. I think it'd be fine. But there's other things that I would like more. And that is the Horus Heresy.
Yeah, it'd be so fucking cool. The thing is, though, I mean, so it's probably going to take... I mean, this just got announced. They have to...
Be like 2 years before you see anything.
At least. Probably closer to 3 or 4.
Yeah.
So they're going to miss the hype of the end of the Siege of Terra.
No way. I don't think that's true at all because here's the thing. Like, the people that buy the book, The Siege of Terra, are going to be there 2 years later.
Oh, no, I agree. They'll still be there, but the initial hype of the end.
Yeah, but, like, the problem is, like, when Games Workshop releases the end, volume 17, whatever volume they decide to fucking go for the end, right?
I mean, there's only supposed to be 2 for Dan.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. It's almost like when they do like the Hunger Games 3.2, you know, that kind of thing. But the problem is like that book's not going to pick up new Warhammer fans.
No,
like there's not a market out there that's going to pick up the last fucking book of a series or even get interested in a series based off of the 75th book that it released.
Yeah, but I think at that point. You're looking at the fans that have followed.
Yeah, but
I think they're gonna
anyway. Watch the show anyway. Yeah. Exactly. So like, I don't think it matters when it comes out. I don't think there's like a hype train on Games Workshop because
their fucking stock jumped.
Oh,
today.
It did. It went nuts.
it went. I wish I owned some stock.
It was genius. They were like, I almost wonder.
They're like, oh, it's Q4. We gotta submit our numbers soon.
I really do wonder if like they're sitting there negotiating with Amazon and they're like, one stipulation we have is Henry Cavill. I almost think that's probably what happened.
I mean, he's got to be the only like Hollywood star I think that would get the following for him because it's something that he's actually like passionate about. He's had interviews about it before. Like he's talked about it several times. Where like anyone else would have been disappointing. Mm-hmm. Like I love The Rock, but if they're like, and The Rock is starting like, Warhammer, I was like, oh god,
oh Jesus Christ,
who's he gonna play? No. Hopefully not the Emperor. That'd be weird.
Like if like they could have just not announced anyone. That would have been okay. I would have been like, fuck yeah, we got an Amazon TV show. It's fucking awesome. Like I would have been pumped.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, so Henry Cavill. And I was like, holy shit.
Why am I naked?
Hell in a cell. So, well, this is something I've been thinking about like all day. All day is like, how would they do the Horus Heresy if it was the Horus Heresy? Because we've had this conversation.
I mean, it depends, right? I mean, if they're doing a full-on universe,
yeah.
I think you have to start with Horus Rising. If that's how you want to do it, I think that's where you start. Because
I have thoughts.
Okay.
My first thought is you don't start with Horus Rising. You start with The Last Church, a very adapted version of The Last Church, because The Last Church is really just like a conversation.
Yeah, I think that's a good start. That's an episode.
It's not even an episode. I think the important part of The Last Church establishes what the fuck is going on. Because what you have to realize is when you go into it, like a fan base, even if you got every single person from Warhammer 40k to watch the show, it's not enough. It's not enough people.
Yeah.
So the question is, how do you bring people into it? And if you throw people into, I was there the day Horus fell, and then the Space Marines start murdering humans on a fucking planet, you're going to be like, I was there the day the Emperor was slain or whatever. It's just like, they're going to be so fucking confused. And I get it.
Well, I imagine the intro has to be the intro of every book. Like the quick thing of this is the grim dark future. Blah 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 blah.
Oh shit!
1,000 psychers, 10 billion psychers a day.
Well, they can't say that because it's like it ruins it. Because most people that watch the show won't know. Most people that watch Witcher
you'll probably
never played the game.
I mean, if there's just like I don't know.
The problem I have is like you're gonna have to very well introduce the concept of the Great Crusade.
Yes.
And realize that he's not.
I mean, maybe we start with literally just some crusading at first,
you have to.
intros.
I think the biggest thing, one of the most confusing things, is like this isn't the first time humans conquered the galaxy, which is why we're fighting humans.
Yeah.
That is like everyone who reads it is like, what? Why are they killing humans? I thought they're like trying to conquer the galaxy.
Honestly, I think it should start with not even a book, but like a whole thing about like the Primarch project.
Yeah, that
like you could go into the Thunder Warriors and stuff like that.
The Last Church does that. That's why I say a very modified version of the Last Church, where it touches on those very important pieces. It does talk about the Primarch projects, like I'm creating sons, and it talks about like the devilishness of the Imperium and how fucked up they are. Like, they want to eradicate religion.
Yeah, and I mean, you could even like slide in some like perpetuals and shit like that too.
You could slide in like, we're gonna reconquer the galaxy and unite the human forces that have been distant for thousands of years. Even if they don't accept us, we will crush them.
Yeah, and it could look like, I mean, you could like go through all of that, and I mean, you could probably make a whole season out of that, and like the last episode be the Primarch scattered.
I think you
could do literally a whole series of just finding the fucking Primarchs.
I'm okay with like that just being an episode and then you starting with Horus Rising. This is my thought though. If we're doing TV show, right? Because there's a whole different route for this. But my thought process is, instead of starting with Horus Rising, which I think you should start with, I think what you should do is do it in the way that the books were originally supposed to do it. Right? Because originally they were only going to release like 12 novels. Yeah. And that was in anticipation of like this level of success, right? So you can do that as a TV show. We're going to cover this many novels, and it's going to be 4 seasons, ideally. And I think the first season covers 5 books in tandem, because I think you get introduced in Horus Rising.
That's a lot of books, though.
But the thing is, like, it all happens at the same time.
The first book is the entire first season of The Witcher.
Yeah, but the also is, like, there's so much filler in those stories. Where, like, there is filler in the stories of, like, Horus Heresy.
Yeah, but you also kind of need some of that detail.
You do.
I mean, you want to be fans of these characters.
I'm thinking of it very similar to, like, Game of Thrones, where you have a story going on in King's Landing, you have a story going on in Winterfell, and you have a story going on in Essos, right? That's what's happening with Sons of Horus, Deathguard, and Emperor's Children. You don't put all your eggs in one basket, right? You kind of bounce around what's happening to them before all this occurs, and then you end with Isfahan, right? You could do it in 2 seasons. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter how many episodes, right? That's also a big variable, like how many episodes per season. But like, I would like to see it happen, like the books congruently, because you're never gonna be able to do like 1 book at a time on this timeline.
Yeah, I think something that'd be really cool.
But what happens when you get to Fulgrim, or you get to Fly to Eisenstein, and you're like, all right, now let's go back. You know, like people probably wouldn't enjoy it. Like they enjoy fluidity in the timeline. That's why The Witcher, one of the reasons it like was good but also wasn't, it was confusing as fuck. The timeline was all over the place. The first season, like you were in the future and the past and never told you.
Until like episode 4 and you figured it out, yeah. But I think what would be kind of cool is you can't like, you do the last church thing, or honestly, you could even do like the unification of wars in general.
Yeah.
And then you had the Primarchs scatter, and I think the finding the Primarchs would be really cool.
So that's
because it would give you like a perspective of each one. It'd make you'd find your favorite.
Yeah, and that's a whole nother situation too. Is like, what if they just did something that hasn't been written? I think that'd be fucking fine.
Yeah,
I don't give a shit.
Because I mean, the base lore's there.
Yeah, and the problem I have, and this is really like the glaring issue of doing something random or even doing Eisenhorn, is the Horus Heresy and the concept of the Horus Heresy is so fucking important.
Yeah,
that like, if you got dropped in anywhere else, it would be like you'd have to go and YouTube the Horus Heresy. You know what I mean? And understand everything that's going on there. And I think that's fine. It brings interest into the idea. And there's a lot of awesome fucking YouTube videos on the Horus Heresy out there. And we have a whole podcast about the Horus Heresy. There's many podcasts about the Horus Heresy. Ours is the best, but there are tons of different avenues they could go down. Personally, I would like to see a TV show. I would like to see something very similar, like I said, to Game of Thrones, where you're like jumping around to the various different things. After Isfan, you have things like, maybe you have like movies separate for like the stories of like Scars and Corvus Corax, but your TV show is still focusing on, I don't know, shit like Imperium Secundus. There's all kinds of shit happening in there, you know?
Yeah.
There's all kinds of stories you can tell about that. That's my thought. And I also thought it would be very cool to like pair alongside like a side TV show similar to Black Mirror that's episodical.
Yeah.
And that's where you can do a lot of short stories or a lot of interesting, even like whole books almost in those. That's just my thought.
There's a lot of cool shit. I'm excited. I think Henry is going to do justice to this.
He is. Whatever they do release on, I think I'm probably going to be happy with the fact that we have something.
Yeah, and it's not a Warhammer Plus. That's the fucking biggest thing.
Lots of opportunity here. I'm super pumped. Everybody's pumped. I think the community just got a huge uproar in the fact they're like...
Yeah, and if this does well... like,
think about what it could do.
Yeah, Amazon wanted Rings of Power to be their Game of Thrones. If this really, like... if it's produced and directed well, this could be...
their Game of
Thrones. A fucking gold mine.
And it could change pop culture into a point where we're like, we've been there. Like, think about that. So, like,
we might be hipsters in 5 years.
We might be hipsters. Oh, we did it before. But I would love to bring in new people. Like, the concept is like people are being interested. I'm like, fuck yeah. Like, it's super awesome. Let's do this.
Yeah, more friends to play with.
Also, Games Workshop sucks.
But yeah, that is it for us, guys. That is our preview of the Crimson King. We'll be back next week for our Christmas episode to do our review. I'm pretty sure Hanukkah started, so if you celebrate, happy Hanukkah. Check us out on all of our things. We will be doing a Christmas giveaway. It'll be the episode after next week.
Next week's Christmas, all right?
Yes, but
it'd be like a New Year's Eve giveaway.
It's for Christmas, but I guess it'll be done on New Year's. I don't know. I think we should do a New Year's special again.
Did we do a New Year's special?
Yeah, we just kind of did a year in review.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, I'm down with specials because I'm running out of pages.
Yeah, I almost thought about us doing one tonight.
Yeah.
But that's it, guys. Hit us up so you can do the giveaway. Just join the Discord, chat with us a little bit, and you are in. You can find that pinned to our Twitter at Heresy Lodge. You can email us at theheresylodge@gmail.com. If you're on YouTube, go over there, like, subscribe, and leave a comment. I will give you the link. Also, we have some sick-ass merch. Check it out. It would be some great Christmas presents, although it definitely won't be here in time for Christmas, so maybe a great New Year's present. So that's it, guys. Have a good one.